To demonstrate how to run your Cypress tests in parallel within GitHub Actions, we are going to be looking at the workflow config file within the real-world app. The real-world app is a payment application that demonstrates real-world usage of Cypress testing methods, patterns, and workflows, and was developed by the Cypress team. After watching this video, feel free to check out the PRs in this repo to see the workflow in action. You can also inspect the runs in the Cypress dashboard, as all of them are publicly available. This is a high-level overview of the workflow config file within the real-world app. In this video, I will be breaking down one of the install jobs and one of the test jobs, as the rest of the jobs are very similar. The name directive is where we will give our workflow a name, in this case, Cypress tests. We are telling the on directive to trigger our workflow every time there is a push to our repo. The branches ignore make sure that our workflow will not be triggered anytime we have a branch that matches this pattern. The workflow config file is comprised of several actions, 2 install jobs, and several test jobs. Let's now go over each line within the first install job. We are telling GitHub to run our install job on the latest version of Ubuntu. We are specifying which Docker container we would like to use for this install job. This is a Docker image that is maintained by the Cypress team. The checkout action is maintained by GitHub and checks out our repo into our pipeline so that our workflow has access to it. The Cypress GitHub action is an action that is maintained by the Cypress team. Run tests false instructs the workflow not to run our Cypress tests, as we do not want them to run during this install step. These lines are outputting some machine info, which is useful for debugging. We are also checking our TypeScript types, running our unit tests, and building our app. The upload artifact action is also maintained by GitHub and handles the uploading of our build directory. This is how we are preserving the build folder to be used in subsequent jobs and workers. Now let's go over each line within the UI Chrome test job. The timeout minutes directive says that if the job does not complete in 15 minutes, cancel the job. We are running this job on the latest version of Ubuntu. We are specifying which Docker container we would like to use for this job. This denotes the dependency between this job and the install job. When a test fails, do not cancel the other containers, as this will leave the dashboard hanging. The containers directive instructs GitHub how many jobs we want to run in parallel. Here again, we are using the GitHub checkout action just like we saw in the install job. The download artifact action downloads our build directory, which we uploaded during the install job, with the upload artifact action. We are using the official Cypress GitHub action. We are starting our local HTTP server and waiting for it to boot up before we begin running our tests. If the server takes longer than 120 seconds, cancel the job. Browser Chrome says that we want these tests to be run inside of the Chrome browser. Record True turns on recording within the dashboard. Parallel True instructs the dashboard that our tests are being run in parallel so that the dashboard can orchestrate which container runs which tests. The group directive is how you can group a collection of tests together in the dashboard. We will see how this works in the next video. The spec directive specifies the tests we would like this job to run, in this case, all of our UI tests. Finally, our env directive contains the environment variables we are passing into our workflow.